Once upon a time in a small village lived a boy named Leo. He was a cheerful and creative boy who loved drawing more than anything else. His family was not very wealthy, and Leo could not afford proper art supplies, but that did not stop him. He would use sticks to draw in the dirt or charcoal pieces from the village fire to sketch on old scraps of cloth. His drawings were simple yet full of life, and everyone in the village loved to see them. One evening, as Leo was sketching a flower on a piece of cloth, he noticed an elderly man watching him from afar. The man had a long gray beard, a crooked cane, and eyes that sparkled with kindness. He walked up to Leo and asked, "Young boy, why do you draw on scraps? Why don't you use proper paper and colors?" Leo smiled shyly and said, "I would love to, sir, but my family cannot afford those things yet. I love drawing and do it whenever I can." The old man looked at Leo for a moment, then slowly reached into his bag, pulling out a small, beautifully carved wooden box. Inside the box nestled a paintbrush. It was no ordinary brush. Its handle shone like polished silver, and the bristles were as soft as clouds, yet seemed to glimmer in the sunlight. The old man handed the brush to Leo and said, "This is no ordinary paintbrush. It is a gift for those who draw with a pure heart." Leo stared at the brush in awe and asked what makes it special. The old man smiled mysteriously and said, "Use it and you shall see." Then without another word, he turned and disappeared into the forest. Excited and a bit bewildered, Leo took the paintbrush home. He could not wait to try it. He dipped the brush into a small pot of water, hoping it would work on his worn cloth. He began to paint a tree slowly and carefully. To his amazement, the moment the brush touched the cloth, colors appeared as if by magic: brilliant greens for the leaves, deep brown for the trunk, and soft blue for the sky around it. But that was not all. As he finished his drawing, the painted tree began to shimmer and then came to life. The tree grew out of the cloth right in front of him. Leaves rustled in a gentle breeze and small birds chirped from its branches. Leo's mouth opened in astonishment. Was this really happening? His simple drawing had turned into a real tree. And from that moment, he realized that the brush was indeed magical. Whatever he painted would come to life as if by some enchanted spell. Over the following days, Leo painted many wonderful things. He painted a garden full of flowers with roses, tulips, and daisies that swayed as though touched by the wind. He painted birds that flew into the sky chirping happily. He even painted a small pond and watched in wonder as fish splashed playfully in the water. The villagers were amazed, and soon word spread about the boy with the magical brush. People from nearby towns came to see the wonders he created. However, there was one person in the village who was not pleased. A wealthy but greedy merchant named Aldrich heard about the magical brush and thought to himself, how useful it would be if he had such a brush. He could paint all the gold and treasures he wanted and become the richest man in the land. Aldrich visited Leo's house and demanded that the boy hand over the paintbrush. Leo refused. He knew that the old man had given it to him as a gift, and he could not part with it. Enraged, Aldrich decided to take the brush by force. That night, while Leo was asleep, Aldrich snuck into his house and stole the paintbrush. But he did not understand the true nature of the brush. He thought he could simply use it to get rich by painting whatever he desired. Greedy and impatient, he painted a chest full of gold coins. But to his horror, the coins scattered and turned into stones. He tried to paint a grand palace, but the walls crumbled into dust. Frustrated, he tried to paint a huge ship that would take him far away, but the ship sank into the ground. The brush would not obey him, for its magic responded only to those who used it with kindness and a pure heart. Enraged, Aldrich threw the brush away into a nearby river where he thought it would be lost forever. When Leo woke up the next morning and found the brush missing, he was heartbroken. He searched everywhere, but the brush was nowhere to be found. He was sad yet grateful for the wonderful moments the brush had brought to his life. Days passed until one evening, while Leo was by the river, he saw a faint glow by the water's edge. Curious, he went closer, and to his delight there was the paintbrush lying on the riverbank as if waiting for him. He picked it up, feeling the warmth of its magic flow through him once more. With a joyful heart, he returned to the village where he continued to paint, not for fame or fortune, but to bring happiness and wonder to everyone around him. Leo realized that true magic was not in the brush, but in his heart. The brush had chosen him because he used it selflessly, creating beauty for others and sharing joy with the world. The villagers cherished him even more. And from that day on, Leo painted every day, filling the village with enchanted gardens, sparkling streams, and colorful animals that danced in the fields. Years passed, and the legend of Leo and his magical paintbrush spread far and wide. Yet Leo remained humble, always remembering the old man's words. The brush was a gift for those who draw with a pure heart. And so, with each stroke of his brush, Leo continued to fill his village with magic, beauty, and kindness, living happily ever after.